one of the most important things that we can think about when we think about civic engagement is what is the unique gift that I can bring to the table and how can I use that to the best effect? And so when I get asked, like, Amanda, are you going to run for office one day? I'm like, maybe in 10 years, that's the best use of my gift. But right now, the best gift that I have is the like ability that I have to communicate clearly, to like make my fun little civic videos, to help teach people a little bit more about Canadian democracy, to help demystify the process, to help in that sense of making politics, civic engagement, living in this world just more accessible in general. That's what I know to be true about the gifts that I hold in this season of life. And I am able in that to like really put on like what I need to do when it's time to do it. And then knowing that in my own values that family and like being a good partner and being a good daughter are the most important part of the pinnacle of the journey of my life for me, that when those take precedence then like everything else has to fall to the wayside, and that's okay, because I also think that part of civic engagement is an understanding that we pick up the work when we can and we put it down when we're not able to carry it. And the social deal that we have with each other in this work is that when I put it down, someone else will pick it up. And it doesn't always happen in perfect ways, but if we're all giving that gift, I have to trust that someone else has very similar gifts. I'm not unique in this sense. And when I put it down, maybe it's a good season for them to pick it up. And sure, it's going to look different. That's okay. Maybe that's what that season of life calls for them. And that's what the world needs, or that's what the community needs at that moment. It's like that for all of the things that we can think of. And so if like that's a business, like I think about one of my best friends who owns a printing business. Like part of the work that she can do is around donating those services for lawn signs and for printing material for campaigns for people it is that she believes in. I One of my very favorite ways to volunteer on campaigns that I think is like really underutilized, particularly for parents, is if you know someone that you really believe in that's running for office, particularly for mothers. Part of that is knocking on doors and making phone calls and going to events. And it might mean that like dinner is like, and making dinner is not within their capacity for that campaign itself. Chip in a couple of them. Be like, oh, I'll make a couple of dinners for your family, or I'll babysit the kids for a night when you're going out and you're door knocking. That makes such a huge difference in the contribution, and it's not monetary. It might not even take any extra of your time. You might be already going to the park with your kids and be like, to one of your neighbors that's running, you can be like, well, I'll take your kids for the night, like I'm gonna go do this, you go do what you got to do, man. And all of that is just community, right? The stronger that our communities are and the more that we're able to help each other out and the different ways that we can contribute those gifts, there are big ways. There's like, I mean, the traditional ways that we always talk about with, money and donations and volunteering and running campaigns, like those are all really important. But there's a lot of background stuff that's happening that we don't always think about that have to do with like the design of a flyer, or like who's taking care of these kids, who's making sure that you're fed and fueled, who's bringing your team coffee. When it's election day, like, can you spare an hour to make sure that people can get to the polls? All of those make a really big difference, and they're not as time consuming as we might think. And I would remind people, and I think that mothers know this most of all, that we can't do anything that we do in a vacuum. We need community to be successful mothers. And we can be more successful mothers if one of us does the ultimate thing of running for office and brings that voice to the table, so that we can make sure that that kind of accessibility and thought is put into what municipal councils look like, what state legislatures look like, what the province looks like, whatever that is, wherever you live. That particular viewpoint is really important, but they don't get there without us. And so, how is it that we can contribute even in small ways? It all goes towards making it happen.
Yeah.